to our YouTube channel at Option1 TV. Please, as we are progressing today again, kindly endeavor to subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, like them, and comment. Give your comments on them. If you have any questions as regards anything we have been posting so far, or maybe concerning this particular video. Alright, yeah. Today we are continuing with perimeter of plane shapes that we have started in our previous videos. And we are commencing with the shape we know as square. In the last video we did the perimeter of a rectangle. Today we are starting with perimeter of a square. On the board we can see the diagram of a square. A square is a form of rectangle. Of course, as you can see, the shape looks very similar to that of a rectangle. We can see it has these two opposite sides that are parallel to one another. These two opposite sides that are parallel to one another, they form angle 90 in between those sides, all through. Okay, so this looks very similar to the shape we know as rectangle. But this is a square. A square is a form of rectangle in which the length remains the length, while the breadth is now equal in size with the length. So in other words, the breadth that could have been the breadth, what could have been the breadth, is not having the same value as our length. That means its side that is referred to as that's supposed to be referred to as the breadth, it's now the length. So in a square, all we have is length, 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 and length. So that doesn't change the fact that it is still a form of rectangle, because some people can still try to refer to this part as the width of the square. But the width of that square is equivalent or equal in value as the length itself. Right now, we want to look at how we can determine the formula for perimeter of a square, just like we did for rectangle. This is not measurement this time. We are not using measurement method. We want to use the formula method. So to determine the perimeter of a square, we'll have to take note of the value of the length from this vertex to this vertex. Take note, and also the value of this length from this vertex to this vertex. Likewise, we do the same thing for this, from this vertex to this vertex, as well as this from this vertex to this vertex. Okay, so we're having 4 edges like that, and we are going to be having 4 readings, 4 values. Okay, but the 4 values are going to be equal. They are going to be the same. So that means if we are going to derive our formula from here, we are going to write that the perimeter of a square will be equal to the length, the first value here, which I'll be representing with small letter L, plus the value we obtain here, which in the case of a rectangle will refer to that place as our breadth. But because the value is going to have the same value as this other length, so we refer to it as a length too. So we write plus length again because they are of equal values, the same value. Okay? Then we take note of the value of this place too. It's going to be the same value as this place here. So of this side here, I mean. So that's going to be plus another letter L plus another letter L. Okay, that communicates that the perimeter of a square, which I will now be representing with just small letter P, will be equal to, in our algebra, we have been told when we see letters like this, that are of like terms, we can just add them and or subtract them together depending on the case we are dealing with. In this case, we have L here, plus L plus L plus L. What does that give us? It gives us 4L. So the perimeter of a square is equal to 4L. So this is the formula for determining the perimeter of a square. Okay, let us look at some examples. Calculate the perimeter of a square having 2.5 centimeter length. Of course, like we mentioned here, every side of a square could be referred to as the length. And that is why the formula for finding the perimeter of a square is simply P equals 4L. So using this formula, we can easily determine the perimeter of that square that we are asked to look for. So for us to solve this, we are going to list out the parameter given us. Of course, we can see that we are given the length of 2.5 centimeters. We are going to write that out. We say L equals 2.5 centimeters. And from what we have said, the formula we are going to use is P equals 4L. So we are going to say, using P equals 4L. After writing this out, the next thing to do is to insert the values of the parameter given us, the values given us. Okay, we were given L equals 2.5 centimeters. So anywhere we see L in our equation, in our formula, I mean, so we are going to insert that value in there. So we are going to be having P, we don't have any value for P, so we are just going to write P equals 4. 4L means 4 times L if we know quite well, or if we don't know, now we know. 4L means 4 times L. So that means 4 times L. Instead of me writing the L now, I put the value of the L there. 4 times 2.5 centimeters. Now, that gives us 10 centimeters. That is the value, that's the value of the perimeter of the square mentioned in the question. Okay, we have another example here. Determine the length of a square garden of perimeter 240 meters. Like I mentioned earlier, whatever value we are given in the question, we should state them out first for easy understanding and application into our formula. Okay, so here in the question, determine the length. Determine the length, the mentioned length there. Length, we don't know. Of a square garden of perimeter 240 meters. They gave us the value of, we were given the value of the perimeter. That is P equals 240 meters. Now, how do we solve this? We bring in our formula. We say using P equals 4L. Start inserting the values into the formula. We're given the value of P, which is 240 meters. So we are going to be having P, instead of writing P now, I'll be writing 240 meters because that's our P now that was given. We are using this to solve the problem. So P now is 240 meters. That will be equal to 4. L, do we know L? No, we don't. So that remains L. So 240 meters equals 4L. Now, we can easily determine the value of our L here by dividing both sides. By dividing both sides of the equation by 4. So we are going to be having 240 meters equals 4L divided by 4 divided by 4. Here we are having 4 goes in here one time, 4 goes in here one time. Here, 4 goes in here one time, 4 goes in here. How many times? That's 60 times. So that means we are left with, what do we have here? We are left with 60m equals L. Therefore, we can rewrite that L equals 60m. That is the value of the length that we are looking for in that question. Determine the length of a square garden of perimeter 240 meters. So the length is 60 meters. Moving on to another plane shape with the name parallelogram. Here is the shape on the board, and we can see that in here the shape is kind of also a little similar, a little similar to that of rectangle, except for the fact that in a rectangle, where I would have referred to as a width or breadth, in this case is slant. The slant side here. We are having a slant side here. We are having another slant side here. All right. So it is quite different from a rectangle. So because of that slant side, I just want to prefer to label the sides of a parallelogram simply as A here, and B here on this slant side. Meanwhile, this particular side that is opposite to this A is actually equal in length with A, for the fact that we have treated the properties of plane shapes, even that of parallelogram in our various classes. So we know quite well that this side is of equal length with this. So definitely we can as well label this place as A. The same applies to this side as well, this slant side as well, that is also equal in length with this other side we labeled as B. So that's also going to be just B. Alright? So I may just write it. Doesn't matter. Okay. And I may decide to just leave it out. Okay, I decided to leave it this way. It doesn't matter, it's the same thing. I could have retained it, those letters there. Alright, now the perimeter of a parallelogram, just like the previous shapes we have treated, is just the outer boundary. The outer boundary, the addition of all the sides of that particular shape. And that's it. And in this case, the perimeter of a parallelogram will be equal to, from what we have here, A, the value here, plus the value we'll obtain from this slant side, B, plus this place, A, and then plus B. And perimeter of parallelogram, I just want to represent with small letter P, will be equal to, collecting like terms, gives me A plus B plus B. And that invariably leads to 2A plus 2B. And that is the perimeter of a parallelogram. Of course, we can rewrite it by factorizing this way. 2 into bracket A plus B. We can use any of these four as the perimeter of our parallelogram. Okay, here is a question, an example that pertains to parallelogram. The perimeter of a parallelogram is 66 centimeters, and one of its sides is 15 centimeters. Find the length of the other three sides. Let us see how we are going to solve this particular question on the board. Like I usually say, you need to interpret these statements in mathematical expression. The perimeter of a parallelogram is 66 centimeters. So I write P equals 66 centimeters. And one of its sides is 15 centimeters. Okay, one of its sides is 15 centimeters. So of course, from the parallelogram we label one part as A, the other part as B. This other side is also A, and this other side is also B. So we can just decide and assume that any of those, whether A or B, is 15 centimeters. So in this case, I want to go with A. So I want to assume that one of the sides given us as 15 centimeters is actually A, the A side. So I write A equals 15 centimeters. I am the one that is assuming that. But I'm assuming that it's not because the question specified for us. So it's just mentioned, that one of its sides. So you could, in any time you come across such a question, you can as well just decide on your own which one you want that value to represent. Okay, now we have one side A as 15 centimeters. Find the lengths of the other three sides. Okay, for us to find the lengths of the other three sides, since we know A already, it is important that we know the value of B as well. Okay, so here we are going to write that the value of B wasn't given to us. Okay, since we have to obtain that before we can determine the value of the other sides that we are looking for, then we bring out, we try to make use of the formula for calculating the perimeter of a parallelogram, which is written as, we are going to say using P equals 2A plus 2B. I choose to use this formula. P is equal to 2A plus 2B. That's my choice. You can use any of these formula here. You can decide to use this. You can decide to use this, or even this. But I just want to try this. It's my choice. Okay? So now we start inserting these values that we have here into that formula. So P, as we know, I want to write it P now. As we know, it's 66 centimeters. So I'm not writing P anymore. I'm writing 66 centimeters now. That is equal to 2A. 2A means 2 times A. We know that. And we are given the value of A as 15 centimeters. So I'm not writing 2 times A. I'm writing 2 times 15 centimeters. Okay. I don't want us to get confused with this times and plus. So I'm putting this in bracket. Then I write the plus now. 2 times B now. It's time for 2 times B. We don't have any value for B. So we retain it as B. So we are still having that as 2 times B. But I don't want to write 2 times B. I want to write 2B. I want to retain that. Okay, because that's what we're actually looking for. Now, we can easily just say 66 centimeters will be equal to 2 times 15, because this is in bracket. We try and resolve that. That is in bracket first. That's 2 times 15 centimeters. We are having 30 centimeters plus 2B. We are looking for B. And we need to take away whatever is going to stop us. We have to remove whatever is stopping us from obtaining only B here. So then we are transferring our 30 centimeters to the other side of the equation. Alright, so we are having 66 centimeters minus 30 centimeters gives us 2B. 66 minus 30 is 36 centimeters, which is equal to 2B. Now, from this point, we divide both sides by B, by 2, by the coefficient of B, that's 2. Divide both sides by 2. So we are having 36 centimeters equals 2B divided by 2 divided by 2. 2 goes here one time, 2 goes here one time. 2 goes here one time, 2 goes here 18 times. So we are writing 18 centimeters equals B. And therefore, B equals 18 centimeters. Now, that means our question mark for B, the value for our B is actually 18 centimeters. I hope we can see that. But the question says, find the lengths of the other 3 sides. Find the lengths of the other 3 sides. Permit me to continue from this other side here. So, since we know that the perimeter has 4 sides, we have already one side given to us already, 15 centimeters, and we have just obtained one more side. Then we say that the side, according to the question, find the length of the other 3 sides. Say the length of the other 3 sides, which are supposed to be A. We have A already, and then the other one is B, and then B. We have A given us already, and we need, from our parallelogram, we have 2 A's, and we have 2 B's. We already have 1 A already, that's 15 centimeters, given us from the question. So the length of the other 3 sides are A, which is equal to, is going to be the same value as the A given us already, that's 15 centimeters. Then B, which is 18 centimeters. And then the other side, the first B is 18 centimeters, so the other side, the other B is also going to be 18 centimeters. So that is what the question wants from us, the answer to our question. Okay, here is another shape, circle. We want to determine the perimeter of a circle. And how do we do that? We have a specific formula. We have a special formula for the perimeter of a circle. May I let us know now that the perimeter of a circle is also known as the circumference of a circle. The perimeter of a circle is also known as the circumference of a circle, and it has its own formula as well. But then the formula, what is the formula? What is the formula? I'll be writing it here. Okay, we have the formula for the perimeter or circumference of a circle here. Before I talk about that formula, look at the diagram we have here for the circle. You can see the dotted line touching one part of the circle, passing through the center of the circle, and then touching the other part of the circle. Okay, now the boundary, the outer boundary, the outer part of the circle is what we refer to as the circumference of the circle, or the perimeter of the circle. Okay, now the line, the dotted line that is touching the one part of that circumference to the other part is the one we refer to as the diameter. We can see we use this arrow to designate to denote where our diameter is. Of course, but if that line actually stops at the center, then we refer to that line as the radius. Likewise, from the center to the other part, that is also radius. Now that communicates to us that a diameter is made up of two radii. Radii, that's the plural for radius. So diameter is made up of two radii, and that means they are related. Now onto the formula for the perimeter or circumference of a circle. The formula is actually pi d. P is equal to pi d. And pi d means pi times d. Pi times d. But then, based on the information we had here, we said that d is equal to r plus r. Don't forget the d here represents the diameter. So d is equal to r plus r can as well be written as d is equal to 2r, because r plus r, remember your algebra, is 2r. Okay, now since we know that d is equal to 2r, so we can choose to make use of our perimeter is equal to pi d as the formula for the perimeter of a circle or circumference of a circle, or we make use of this. Or we make use of this. Or we make use of this. So those are the formulas for the perimeter of a circle. Sometimes we may need this formula as well to help us determine maybe the radius or diameter, depending on the questions that we are given. Here is an example of a question that pertains to a circle, circumference of a circle, or perimeter of a circle. What is the circumference of a circle of radius 7 centimeters? We are given pi is equal to 22/7. Usually, whenever we have questions pertaining to determining the perimeter of a circle, we are given the value of pi. Usually the value of pi, because it's a constant, is usually equal to 22/7, or 3 whole number 1/7. Sometimes it can be in decimal form as 3.142 approximately, but in this case they have specified for us that we should use 22/7. Okay, how do we do this? We list out, like I usually say, we list out the parameters, the values given to us in the question. And when we say what is the circumference of the circle, circumference, they mention circumference there. So we write C, circumference, or P, of course, from our question here. P also is the same thing as C, because P represents perimeter. Of course, circumference, I'm using C, it's the same thing. C is equal to pi d. Okay, C, in this case, we don't know. Of a circle of radius 7 centimeters, radius 7 centimeters, right, radius equals 7 centimeters. And they want us to determine the C, or P. P equals pi d, we know that? And then P equals 2 pi r, I hope we know that. Okay, now, which formula are we going to use? It all depends on the values that we have. In this case, we have the value for r, so we look at the formula, which one is applicable, here or here? Oh, this one is more interesting. It's more applicable because we are having r here, and we know our pi already, according to the question. So in fact, we should even state out the pi, the value of pi that we are given, 22/7. And then, how do we solve this? We say using, which of these formula? We use this. We use using C, okay, let's use it as C now, equals 2 pi r. Now start inserting those values in there. C is unknown, so we retain it as C equals 2 pi means 2 times pi times pi. Pi means 22 over 7. So we don't write pi anymore, we write 22 over 7 now. 22 over 7. Then r, that's times r. 2 times pi times r. So times r. I want to write my r now, but I don't want to write the r. I write the value for r. And that's 7 centimeters. 7 centimeters. Okay, next thing that we do now is, because we know this is a fraction, and these are whole numbers, we can rewrite our whole numbers in form of fractions by just putting over 1 over 1 for convenience's sake, for better understanding. Now in this case, look at how denominators and numerators can be simplified further by looking at common factors. Alright, here 7 can divide this by 7 can divide this 1 time, and 7 can divide this 1 time. So we are left with 2 times 22. This is another example which says, what is the perimeter of a circle of diameter 70 meters? Let us list out the values given us. Okay, what is the perimeter? Perimeter we don't know. P, or circumference, we don't know. Of a circle of diameter 70 meters. Given pi equals 22 over 7. So we say, using which formula will be more suitable here? PD pi. PD pi. This is more suitable than this. We have D instead of R. Of course, it's not as if we can't use this either. If we have to use this, then we may have to do this first. D equals to R, then we determine our R, then we can now use this value. So using P equals pi D. Let us insert our values. P we don't know. Pi is 22 over 7 times D, 70 meters. Alright? By 1, divide by 1. Okay. Next is to look at the common factors. 7 can go here 1 time, 7 here 10 times. We have 10 meters. Then our perimeter is what? 22 times 10 meters, which is equal to 220 meters. So P, our perimeter, equals 220 meters. This is where we end today's session. I want to believe you have learned how to determine the perimeter of regular plane shapes better now. Before we go, here are some practice questions that I want us to try to practice on our own if we have access to this textbook. The textbook, New General Mathematics for Junior Secondary Schools, Book 1, exercises 13B to D. Try to practice questions, all the questions under exercise 13B, all the questions under exercise 13C, all the questions under exercise 13D. If you're able to do this, I am pretty sure that you'll never have any concern solving questions pertaining to this topic anymore. While solving, if you have any challenges or questions from our session today, kindly do well to leave your questions under the comment section there. Just type in your questions under the comment section. I will answer you. Okay, I'll reply to you. If not on the comment section, you can as well message me on WhatsApp via my WhatsApp line, which is 080-324-92078. Again, 080-324-92078. 92078. That is my WhatsApp line. You can just message me if you have any question, and I will surely reply you as soon as I can. All right. Thank you for participating in this video. Thank you for watching our videos. We always appreciate you. Kindly remember to subscribe to our channel, like our videos, including our previous videos, and as well help us to share this video to as many people as you can. All this help our channel to keep growing and we'll be able to serve you better. Always remember to also leave your comments. Don't forget, it is very important to us. Okay, so this is where we call it the end of this session. Thank you for always joining us. My name remains Ezekiel Omotosho. Till next time that I come your way, enjoy the rest of your day.